Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the second in the Free to Be Me series. And this week we're talking about Melody Beattie's book, Codependent No More. Now, back in the 80s, Melody Beattie was a key figure and well known for her work on codependence in particular. And gosh, it was a great revelation to me. I was a young woman then, and I was clueless. And actually, to be fair, most people were clueless about uh, codependence and everything connected with that. There was a lot of literature back in the 80s as part of the recovery movement, as was known then. And a lot of that came out of the family therapy that was going on at the time. Anyway, Melody Beattie was a key figure, and her kind of definition of codependence was an unhealthy and excessive reliance on others for self-esteem and identity. And she does emphasize that how important it is to recognize and heal codependence. Now, at the time when I came across this, um, I actually was quite clueless, as I've said. I mean, I keep saying that because it still never ceases to amaze me how long and slow it was for me to catch on to some of these things, as it may be for you, because you know, I thought I was all right. And most people think they're all right. And you'll find in a lot of these books about that were personal development, an entry into personal development at the time, and a lot of the concepts that come up will mention denial and people's propensity to deny any reality that doesn't fit in either with their self-image or how they want the world to be. And so I could read stuff and think, oh gosh, how interesting is that, and still not see it in my own life. And I'm really reminded of a time, and this is part of what was my codependency that I didn't know about. I remember talking to somebody once, and we were talking about somebody that we knew who had an adopted child who was being really difficult, behaviorally. And I remember saying, well, I was adopted, but it didn't affect me. And at the time when I said that, I would have been in my late 20s, and I really, really believed that I was some kind of lucky and exceptional person who had gone through being adopted, and it hadn't affected me. Like, really, I just was totally unaware of the ways it affected me. And one of the ways it affected me was that my dependency needs had not been met as a young child, well, even an older child. My dependency needs had not been met, and I I actually did have an excessive reliance on others for self-esteem and identity, and that at the time was mainly on my husband. That I my self-esteem and identity depended on how he was, and I would have been totally preoccupied with what's going on with him. So it did take a while for me to catch on to all that. So codependency really is an issue. And I suppose in these days when it's been around for many years and more people are familiar with the concept and would see maybe it as something that's not okay to be, so therefore they wouldn't want to see their own codependence. But anyway, that is the main body of the work of Melody Beattie. So the other thing that she emphasizes is to heal from that, the part of that is really paying attention to your own self-care, and having some compassion for yourself and prioritizing that. Now, um, of course, if you're living with any kind of a partner with an addiction, whether it's alcohol, weed, gambling, or whatever, but particularly mood altering substances, which includes alcohol, the tendency is to have your life revolving around that other person, what they're doing, when they're doing it, how they're doing it, and for how long they're doing it, and when are they going to stop doing it, and all of that. And of course, that other person, because of their addiction, can be very controlling. But actually, the codependent doesn't notice their own controlling behavior, because they see themselves as being controlled. So that's part of all of this crazy making codependent stuff, that it's a kind of a bit of control warfare between two people. Um, but to heal it, it means addressing your early dependency needs that weren't met. And so therefore it also means becoming aware of the control issues in your relationship and the need to let go of control. So that is a recurring theme, and you'll find that as a recurring theme in the books that we look at. So as far as she's concerned, you've got to let go of control, because uh, you cannot change another person. And that all aligns with, the 12-step movement and the serenity prayer. God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Uh, so taking things one day at a time, being present, and the concept, the big concept, is detachment. That's one of the big things that she talks about. Getting free of codependence is detachment. And that's about focusing on yourself and your own life. And it doesn't mean being really selfish. It's about not being so preoccupied with what other people are doing, and about getting a life of your own. Now, I would say for some of you, um, you can be living with someone who's alcoholic, but who still with all the unpredictability of that, insofar as you never know when they're going to be drunk or when they're going to be sober, when are they coming home, when are they not coming home, how late are they going to be, how much have they spent, and all of that stuff. But it can take over your life and you can lose yourself in it. But some people who have an alcohol dependency, they can still be a bit thoughtful, and they can still allow their partners to have a life. Where you've got someone with an alcohol issue, who maybe is also quite narcissistic, not only do they want to, they have their addiction, but they control you and your life, and they don't want you to have a life. So that makes it more difficult. But to get out of the crazy making aspect of this kind of relationship, you do have to uh, detach and think about your own well-being, and think about, you know, uh, having some kind of vision for your own life as well. So she, Melody Beattie, also emphasizes the importance of having a support group. And I would definitely say, if you're ever going to get through and out the other side of a very codependent and perhaps alcoholic or addiction scenario, you um, really do need to detach from being preoccupied with the other person, because actually it is like an addiction. So whilst they may be addicted to a substance, you're addicted to them. So the detachment is about getting back on your own lane and focusing on yourself and your own well-being. So she also emphasizes the need for healing resentment, because when you feel trapped or feel like your life is being like dictated by someone else's irresponsible behavior, um, and you're kind of losing yourself, you're feeling angry towards them, but maybe you're fearful of them because they can be violent or abusive. And so you're afraid to express your anger and resentment. But, well, resentment is unexpressed anger. So when anger is not expressed, it comes out as resentment, and it can come out in passive aggressive ways. In all of this, I would say, what a nightmare scenario for the children growing up in that environment, to be having parents who are consumed with all that addictive behavior. It's not a good scenario for the children. And so I'm saying that for those of you watching this whose children is young enough for you to be able to sort this out sooner rather than later. I noticed that some people in my Rebuild Your Life group, which you're all welcome to join us if you would like to do that. You'll see a link down below. And while I think about it, if you're finding these videos helpful, please click subscribe, and you know, you'll be alerted when they come up, and like and comment. That would be really good. But what I'm trying to say is, for those of you whose family is still young enough not to be seriously damaged yet by all of this, do think seriously about getting some support or help or information to help you to resolve this, because it can go on for decades and it is progressive. So one of the things that Melody Beattie emphasizes as well is spirituality and a higher power, um, as a source of strength and guidance. Now, I personally advocate that, because fundamentally I believe we are all multidimensional, and that we are all spiritual beings in space and time, being part of this human race for a time, and we are on a journey. And you know, we've got these challenges and hurdles, and there's a lot of learning and transmuting that happens on that journey. And it does make a difference if you have some sense of some higher purpose for all of this, um, because it is so crazy making. And you, in a codependent situation, you can absolutely lose yourself. So the thing is to learn how to meet your own dependency needs, unmet dependency needs, become independent, and then, you know, if your partner can make that same journey and you both heal, that's great, and it's great for the children as well. If they don't, it may be that you have to make a decision to carry on in your own journey to independence, and it may be further down the line to be in an interdependent and grown up adult relationship. And then, you know, there is life after all of that. But look, the next video will be, I'll be highlighting Charles Whitfield's book, and the whole concept of healing the inner child. So um, I'm going to leave that there. And like I say, if you would like to be included in these videos, you know, being alerted to these videos, please subscribe and click like. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.